on Australia's business channel. This is Media Week.
Hello and welcome to Media Week. Ahead, deal activity set to pick up in the media sector. MCM kicks off a new entity. And just how has the World Cup been rating for SBS? But first, Ten has warned its TV revenue for the 2014 year will be down 3.5% to 4.5% on last year. It says ratings have improved since the launch of MasterChef and Offspring, but the TV market remains volatile. For all the details, we're joined by our co-host, James Manning, the editor and publisher of Mediaweek. Ten particularly was warning about its revenues today. James, what has it said on the revenue side of things?
Yeah, look, they closed the year off on August 31, so yeah, they just haven't been able to get the revenues up. This year it's been rough for them. As you mentioned, they have had better ratings. MasterChef has been the driver of all that, but the revenue lags the market in terms of ratings. You know, you've got to be rating for a little while before people start buying in to you, and they're still trading on, you know, last year's figures. A lot of the annual deals are done at the end of the calendar year. The end of calendar year last year, Ten wasn't in a good place, so that was, you know, predicated what a lot of people were going to spend with them in 2014, and that so there hasn't been a reaction yet. That should flow through next year, they're saying. What
about costs? It's previously warned they're going to go higher. What's contributing to that?
They're talking about 8% up, and that's outside the one-off costs for things like the Sochi Games, the Glasgow Com Games that are coming up. We think, if you've got to guess, it's like the Big Bash. Paid a fair bit for that. Got them a bit of revenue, but it pushed their costs up. And there's stuff in breakfast and morning, Studio 10, which they've still got, and Wake Up. Will they be reviewing? Wake Up's gone, of course. Studio 10's still there. Its numbers aren't very good, and if competitively it really lags, you know, Nine's offering and Seven's offering at the same time. So they'll be really examining that carefully, whether they would continue with Studio 10, I would have thought.
Yeah, sure. There's been big news this week. Paul Bongiorno taking a redundancy at 10 too.
Yeah, look, one of the many. He was saying, look, he's been there for a long time, so he's certainly had a good run at it. He stepped down. They've lost some other people in Canberra, and he's saying, look, if I can go now, I might save a couple of other jobs. So he was pretty generous about that.
He was. What about the latest ad sales data for May that's come out? Is there any clues in that about how Ten might be faring? And particularly, you know, they're saying MasterChef and Offspring are looking better for them.
Yeah, no, the only clues in there are how bad they're going in terms of revenue. Okay. They're still down. I think it's about 18% share. 7 and 9 are both up above 40. So that's really how the market sits these days. It's all, you know, it's a two-horse game with really 7 and 9, 40% each, and 10 under 20%. You've got to think, well, with 10, if 10 can sort of write some revenue off this improved MasterChef, that they could push back up above 20%. Far above it, maybe not, and it really depends on have they got something that'll help their audience numbers when MasterChef finishes.
We have proposed changes to media ownership regulations and also increased availability of finance. Two things, amongst others, that possibly could fuel deal activity across the media sector. This seemed to be one of the takeaways from Ernst & Young's latest Media and Entertainment Capital Confidence Barometer. This is actually a global survey of senior executives in the industry, so gauging their confidence in the global economy, some boardroom trends and also insights into their capital agenda. We're joined for more by David McGregor. He's Ernst & Young's Media and Entertainment Leader. David, welcome to Media Week. This is a global survey, so just in terms of whose views you're actually capturing, are many of the media executives from here, or is this more indicative of perhaps what might happen here if we follow the lead of others globally?
No, it is a range of global CEOs and C-suite, so there are a number from here, but again, it's a wide range from across various regions in the world.
You talk in the report about the things like, you talk a lot about there seems to be some impetus for deals. A lot of people interested in doing deals in the media sector. Talks about deregulation as being one of those things that is driving that. What are the thoughts of the people here, and what do you think about the real possibility of deregulation in the sector, either later this year or sometime soon?
Yeah, I think we're finding about 64% of the executives saw this sort of growing confidence and the global economy was improving. And they've also spent a bit of time sort of getting the cash and the cheap debt and getting the balance sheets in the right order. So I think you'll start to see that sort of deal flow will start to come from there. And again, locally, I think as we've all discussed, you get some of the changes in the media rules will certainly open up some of the consolidation opportunities that are available locally.
And the media and entertainment companies indicate the confidence in the economy. There's a lot of talk about that, and presumably that's by the fact they're willing to do deals, but we're not seeing some of that in all the media sectors in terms of ad spend. There's a lot of people maybe outside the media who aren't that confident in the space.
Well, I think, again, you'll find there is a growing confidence. Again, I think the strong balance sheets will ensure that some of that deal flow will start to go. But I think you'll also find that about 60% of the executives said their business strategies and their deal strategies will be impacted by the digital transformation. So I think you'll find there's a number of deals that have been happening in that digital space, and that'll continue to go. That tends to be probably higher volume but lower value. So they're sort of smaller deals but quite important for the future.
The report talks about digital technologies as a threat and an opportunity, of course. When it comes to the views of some of the old media businesses, are they seeing it as a threat, or are some really coming to the grips with the digital business model and adapting their own models to that?
Well, I think it's the same for all players. You've got to continually look at your own model and also challenge it. I think you'll find that obviously there's some large cash flows coming from the traditional businesses, but every one of the players has got to start to innovate and start to disrupt their own models. Otherwise, someone else will come in and do it for them.
David, one of the stats that I picked up on too, I mentioned the appetite for media companies to pursue acquisitions. I think the figure was 34%. That seems pretty high. Like nearly a third of all companies think they could be in negotiations for some sort of takeover or acquisition.
Yep. Well, as you say, in that media and entertainment space, I think the hard work's been done on cost structures and cutting and reshaping the businesses. And I think they've now built up that strength in the balance sheet. And I think a lot of the C-suite recognise you really got to start focusing on the top line, growing that and building that innovation and getting that digital transformation really moving in the business.
Is that how you'd probably partly explain as well that there was one, I think what people would see as a very positive indicator, 58% of companies will keep their workforce at the current size. That figure was 43% a year ago, so that's a significant improvement. Is that hard work all done, do you think?
I think a lot of the hard work has been done, yes. And what you may find is that a little shift. You may cut back in some areas, but you'll probably find that the digital space and the digital skills is really the area that people will start to look to hire.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, David McGregor, for walking us through it.
My pleasure.
Thank you, David McGregor, Ernst & Young, or EY Media and Entertainment Leader, joining us from Melbourne. We'll stick with the theme of deal activity coming up on Media Week. We're speaking with the CEO of the newly formed marketing service company, Authentic Entertainment.